Oh my god, just eat shit real quick. What's good? It's been a minute. Not only has it been almost a year since we last uploaded, but there's been a lot of big changes. The first major one, as you can tell, we're in a completely new garage. So Aiden and I used to do all of the work to all of our cars within his parents' garage using his dad's tools. Luckily, Aiden started a job at a dealership a while ago and was able to get a whole set of Harbor Freight special tools. So now we have quite literally everything we need. As far as sanders, cutters, grinders, drills, sockets, impact sockets, literally anything we can need for the cars, we have at this point, which makes it a lot easier for us to work on them. Being inside of our own garage space means that we don't have to drive 30 minutes to go work on things anymore. That was one of the big parts of the Integra that made it so hard for us to be able to create content. Besides from being an absolute pile of shit, was the fact that it was such a far travel, and when you're already working and doing school, you don't want to drive the 30 minutes to go work on a car. I guess that pans the question. If the Integra is gone, then what are we even going to make content about? Well, Aiden has always really been into bikes. In fact, this right here was his uncle's bike that he was able to buy off of his cousin. Let him talk about that a little bit more, but basically to kind of just explain what's going on, he got this and pressured me into buying that. So, we had a shitbox Mustang, a shitbox Integra, and a few other cars that we didn't even post because they were so bad because we're terrible with our financial decisions, and if we see a cheap car, we're going to buy it and ask questions later. Well, I finally decided that it was time to purchase something that wasn't going to blow up on me the second that I got it to the house. So, this is a 2023 KTM RC390. The lighting isn't perfect here, but you can see the bike, and that's what looks good. This is a 2023 RC390. It's a 371cc motor, single cylinder, 6-speed manual transmission, like most bikes, 1 down, 5 up. This is the second generation of this bike. The main changes from the first generation to this one are not only the appearance, it looks a lot newer. You get the nice display that is way better and not the crappy orange. You get improved suspension, improved frame, and also way more comfortable. I sat on the first generation and then I tried this one. I thought that it was worth paying the extra money in order to get this bike. Now, what made me decide on the RC390 over some of its competitors like the Yamaha R3, Honda CBR 300, or even the ZX4? The biggest thing that I wanted in a bike was something that was easy to learn on. I would be able to improve my skills on. I wouldn't get bored of super quick. Something that was comfortable, something that was decently reliable, and just something that wasn't an absolute shitbox. When I was looking at the different bikes for what my price point was, pretty much the only two that I would be able to get would be an older CBR, an older beat-to-shit ZX4, or the KTM. The KTM is by far the least popular decision, and I think that's just because this bike hasn't been around as long as the others. The first generation, especially the 2015 and the 2016, were known to have issues with head gaskets, which put everybody off. Also to do with the fact that they have a single cylinder. People didn't like that. They like their V-twins, which I completely understand. They're a little more responsive. They sound a little bit better. They have way less vibration. I test rode a couple of the bikes. Now, granted, this is my first bike, so I am not an expert. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert. But after riding them, I just really liked the RC. For what I paid, $4,200. It's got 4,000 miles, one owner. He had all the service records. I knew that I was getting into something that wasn't going to be a piece of shit. There weren't as many of them to the point where I knew that even if I ride this for a little while, I'm not going to lose a whole lot of value in it. It's a nice little starter bike. It teaches me not only how to work on bikes, but how to ride properly. It got me out with a lot of my friends, and I just thought that it was the overall best decision for me. Now, I understand that it's not the popular decision out of the group, but it was just the one that I wanted. And you know what? Screw what everybody else thinks, because after riding this bike, I absolutely love it. I understand that the transmission is a little clunkier than the others, but I've never had an issue finding a gear. If anything, I have a harder time finding neutral than I do finding first or second. It has a really forgiving throttle response. Eventually, if I really wanted to, I can learn how to wheelie before moving up to something like a 600. But this is the bike that was going to be able to let me do highway speeds, ride on the road comfortably, and get something that wasn't a piece of shit for the money. And honestly, I could not be happier with my decision. So what's kind of next for this channel and being able to actually start making content? This is something that I actually want to keep for a while and something I really want to get into. I prefer cars. I will be 100% honest. I like riding motorcycles, but cars are my thing, especially naturally aspirated V8s in a manual, like the Mustang. But this is something that, with all the things going on in my life, I am able to pay for the insurance, I bought the bike outright. It's something that I can wrench on myself, something that doesn't require tons of work if something goes wrong. And I think it's just a really good platform to start on, especially with Aiden having his bike. It's something that we can both go out and do together. And that's just kind of what I want to do right now. Eventually, down the road, I'd love to get another Mustang or some other car to work on. But for now, I think bikes are the cheapest and easiest solution to be able to at least start making videos and kind of grow the passion that I have for not only automotive, also for content creation. Now, Aiden isn't awake yet because it's 8:30 in the morning and he doesn't get up until about 10:30 to noon. But eventually when he gets up, I'll have him kind of walk you through the Softail and what he thinks of that.
This is my 2005 Harley Softail Deluxe. Originally it was my uncle's, and I used to ride on the back of this to baseball practices and games as a kid. I had so many great memories playing Little League, riding on this seat right here. The last conversations I had with him was that he wanted me to have the bike after he passed away. And he died very suddenly, and it wasn't in his will, so it took many years. I ended up getting it from my cousin. I ended up having to remove gas tank and fuel injectors and all that stuff, replace all that. Well, not replace, but clean all of it out. The only thing that needed to be replaced was the fuel filter, the one fuel line on the left-hand side, and the spark plugs. Other than that, it runs great. It's got a straight piped, long, can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a straight piped Vance and Hines exhaust. But it's basically like riding a lazy boy on the highway. So there's a couple things that need to be done. The handlebars are not straight. So the front wheel is kicked just a little bit to the left when when the handlebars are straight. So I need to fix that, which is going to require a bit of work on the front end. And then my fuel gauge doesn't work, which sucks on long rides. There's just a few like ease of use stuff that I want to get. New handlebars bring them up and back a little bit more. Not quite ape hangers, but kind of in between what this and some ape hangers. And then bigger injectors and a high flow air intake. So pretty excited about that stuff. There's not going to be any upgrades done for a long time, like the injectors, the high flow intake, and like a tune or anything. That's going to be quite some time. But handlebars, hopefully sooner than later. But I do want to get the fuel gauge fixed and at least get my handlebars straightened out.
So, if you like bikes or cars or just watching two idiots try to figure out how the hell you're supposed to work on a motorcycle, then follow along, see what you think. And if you don't like me, well, then I don't really care. But thanks for watching. Next time, we're probably going to do an oil change on the bike, make sure that everything is okay on it. I've already checked the coolant, the brakes, everything like that. But when you buy a bike, you definitely, first thing you want to do is oil. So, I'll see you next time.